and really line up for those dragon stacks early. It's going to be the Orianna ban. So Lee Sin, very much open.
Well, that'd be an audacious thing, right? It's like, we're not going to ban away your Lee Sin, Junhao. We're going to pick it away from you, from Jun here. So we'll see if that's exactly the plan. You were serving up Ezreal talk with Viper as the Ezreal OTP and Viper Glazer. Sign me the hell up, Jack. We're getting another Ezreal Viper game. I love it.
Yeah, I'm a fan too. Been playing this a bit in solo queue and getting a lot of Kai'Sa slammed into me.
Interesting.
I believe that Sivir is not the worst matchup in the world in lane, similar to a Varus type of angle. It's much worse than Varus because he's got more poke, and if you're ever by yourself under tower, can be tough. The Lee Sin's left open. Now, this is a concern, though, because Poppy's up, right? And that's Lee Sin. While Jarvan isn't necessarily good into Lee Sin itself, it is good into Ryze. It works pretty well with the Ezreal too. This also opens up for BLG to go Karma. I think Karma, like Ezreal Karma is a really great lane, and I think it's not bad into Lee Sin. You know, he goes in early, the shielding, but something we haven't seen a ton of because it's been banned. Bard is pretty tough into Lee Sin though. Not a huge fan of into the Lee Sin. Don't mind it into the Ryze, but this would be a nice little answer here into the Ryze. The Syndra for Knight.
Oh, Knight Syndra, man. Something else to behold. So this will be a fun one nonetheless. Also like even looking for the J4 already, because you're thinking about, hey, this Ryze, you can lock in the Cataclysm. Yeah. But I do think the Ezreal Karma safety is something that will really come through here and presents a very pointed bottom lane for BLG to try and win through. It was a big reason they were able to win that game up against JDG not too long ago. What I'll also say, by the way, as we get the Jace to come through here, likely we'll lock up the top side. It's going to be Keshi that picks up that one. Lee Sin, we talked a lot about for Junhao here. Jack, we'll say he has 2 losses on it this split. One of them was the last time he played BLG. So keep that in mind.
It's a bit scary. I mean, we're talking about picks that you could go, and Feathers found a lot of success on the Shen. I think this is a good Shen game. I like it into the Karma because you out-roam her. You find pretty easy engages with the Taunt Flash onto Karma and the Syndra. It's a bit tough onto Ezreal, but everything engaging onto Ezreal is bad. I could see BLG going for some more of those, you know, solid engage options. So maybe the Leona, things like that. But instead, just going to go towards the Ziggs, some of the AP bot laners. I really think BLG needs some kind of lockdown here. The Lee Sin's very slippery. The Jace has a lot of range. We need something to help close the gap. We've got basically exclusively poke here. The shield and peel is nice from the Karma and the Syndra. So this Pantheon ban makes a ton of sense because that's exactly what I'm talking about. That point and click CC, the global pressure. Really nice to see ThunderTalk take that away.
I'm right there with you, Jack. I do think now the other like pointed meta options here for Shun, they all feel kind of meh. Like, I don't necessarily like the idea of Nocturne in this game. I don't think there's a lot of good follow-up for Nocturne. You're usually going to get out of the range of a Syndra follow-up. You're banking on, what, like a True Shot Barrage maybe to come through. And then Xin Zhao's the other one that screams out to me, but I feel like Ryze and Jace are both kind of happy to play in the range of Crescent Guard with Hammer Stance and how low-range Ryze is. What I find interesting about the back end of this draft is it seems like ThunderTalk are trying to answer the range of BLG with some range of their own, especially if this Jhin comes through. We're going to have a very pointed range battle with Ezreal, Syndra, Jhin, and Jace all operating in the same game. Yeah, it does seem like that's exactly where On's going to go, facing a very scary bottom lane in that Ezreal Karma.
Yeah, it makes the Ryze a little bit awkward. I actually think this is a great Yorick game. I'm not a huge fan of the Yorick. I much prefer team fighting, but the Yorick into the Jace could be a nice little side lane action. And then you've got Jhin and Ryze, who also can't get out of the cage if you do rotate into team fights. There isn't a ton of consistent damage, and with an Enchanter, the Olaf might peek up his head here. Flandra will lock this in. This is not a weak side champion. He might suffer in lane, but he has to lock in. He has to run it down. There is no other option. Flandra didn't have the best series, playing some weak side, not a ton of impact for his team. on the Olaf with the Nocturne, the Karma behind him. He is running it down in a good way, and he needs to do a lot of work. Here's the Shen I was talking about, maybe for Feather, as he looks at a couple of different options, but I think either of them are fine. Tough into the Ezreal, good into Karma. Like you said, though, a lot of poke. I think the linchpin of the BLG draft is the Olaf Nocturne. They have the potential to go in. ThunderTalk are a lot more focused on side lane, though, right? With the Rise, the Bard roaming, really need to get some impact in the top lane on the Keshi, or roam to this Lee Sin and try to give a lead over to Junhao.
Junhao and his Lee Sin has 2-2 on the pick, but like we talked about, has rarely gotten the opportunity to play this and would love to get a win against the team. He was not able to accomplish this last time playing this Lee Sin. Would be very important in this one. BLG, though, of course, pulling on some of the few positives, Jay Beto, that they could take away from that JDG series, which was a dominant Ezreal Karma lane. Viper was doing disgusting work in the last Ezreal game we saw from him. And of course, it's Knight Syndra. So we've got some heavy hitters, some classics, old and new, on both the ThunderTalk and BLG side. A series that both teams would desperately like to get a win on after seeing our last series. ThunderTalk are now looking at an LGD trying to chase them into the play-in tournament, and BLG have a bit better of a lifeline to try to reclaim that top spot in Group Ascend, a spot that they have been unwavering at in both regular season and playoff form. The top spot in the LPL, best way to do it is to get a bounce back up against a lesser opponent in ThunderTalk. As we hit the rift here, finally, Game 1, TT BLG, bring me those Jayos.
You know what? Not bad from the ThunderTalk side, I have to say. Not bad.
The passion is there. The crowd mics are not as well placed. But what we do have is, of course, a fight over the Raptors. This is classic Flandra, guys. You know, we've been used to watching. Used to watching Ben. He deserves all the resources, playing for himself a lot, but this is what Flandra does, man. He's like, I'm sacking my top lane. I'm playing into a Jace. I'm going to make sure Shun doesn't just get level 2, steal the big camp. He takes the whole Raptor camp away from him and completely stuns Junhao's clear. Meanwhile, Viper has full lethal tempo stack, just firing a flurry of Qs, forcing the barrier out of On. And just like that, Jay Beto, not even a minute 30 into the game, it already feels like jungle and bot lane are very BLG-sided.
Yeah, Ezreal Karma, one of the most prolific bot lanes, up there with, you know, Lucian Nami, now a bit more eclipsed by Lucian Milio, but so common to see these two play together. The reason is the early game push is so terrifying from the Karma and the Ezreal, very tough to play into it. Karma's a pretty, you know, good matchup this game, I think, when you've got these, like, close range targets. Obviously the Jin's a bit tough, but getting the push against him is nice. A couple of things I want to talk about, though. Storm Raider Surge plus the Doran's Helm and Ignite for Flandra. The Ignite's already down. I think he went for an all-in against Keshi early. Exhaust on Viper that's already been used, and the Ghost on Heru. I don't know if this is a dive ever. Just the gang. Oh, sorry, just the invade right now.
We'll steal away that Gromp here from Shun. Is pinging over to his Wolf camp. And Junhao definitely taking his sweet time going forward through to this Gromp. Should be able to secure before Shun has any inkling that his camps are under threat here. And we'll just now see that jungle camp jump over there, Jack. So you should know that Junhao is onto his blue buff. Knight has first move, Flandra does as well, and Junhao, oh boy, buddy, gonna have to ward hop and does not get slowed by a slinged axe by Flandra, but is backed off, stealing away an extra camp there from Shun. So this is going to further really slow down this Lee Sin's clear.
Yeah, and not only is it slowing down the clear, but it's accelerating Shun. Shun is going to hit level 6 so much faster, and on this Nocturne, that's an important point to talk about, right? He's nearly a level up. Junhao is going to get double scuttled on, and Shun's going to be able to go back and pick up his blue, probably take a base, get, you know, maybe double longsword. A lot stronger in the 1v1, has more XP, can go for the Raptors invade here even if he wants to stay which would put this Lee Sin even further behind. Looks like that is what he wants to do.
I love it. It's also, you know, getting some extra space there as Heru looks for a trade. Heru now is going to have to walk so far and awkwardly to get over to finally get that reset he's looking for. He has no mana. There's no way he can even really contest Shun here on these stolen Raptors. So, sure, Junhao gets the camps even backed up, taking that Gromp away. But like you mentioned, double Scuttle Crab. Shun has those Raptors on lock. He's controlled both Raptor pits. And this is a nice start to see here. Of course, a bit of an easier opponent than JDG, J Beto, but this really feels like a BLG early game already.
It does, yep. Dominated by Shun's early pathing. Dominance through bot, which is good to see because there have been times, Leo, where the bot lane of BLG has not looked as comfortable as they should be, I guess, on paper.
Right.
Speaking about somebody who's not looked super comfortable so far, Flounder in the top lane. Already suffering in the lane. I mean, did obviously sacrifice his early start in the lane to help out Shun in the invade. And this is a conversation, I guess, that you can have. Is it worth to have a player who is willing to sacrifice so much to accelerate another lane? Where, yes, Shun is up, you know, 10 CS. He's up 150 gold. He's got some XP, but now Flounder's down 500 gold.
Oh, we're going to fight over that blue buff, though. Let's see who wins the smite here. It's going to be Junhao. So he picks up that blue buff, but Shun's going to land the fear. Ward hop. Flash from Shun. He's looking to follow. Flounder doesn't have ult, but he's just looking to chase down Junhao, who does have his flash. An extra dash over the wall will get him out as Heru's going to pop Ghost. Knight missed that scatter of the week. Heru not going to look to push any further there. Win for Junhao. He doesn't even end up losing that flash alone. He trades flashes, and now that jungle gap that was widening is very much so shortened a bit. Still about that, you know, double Scuttle Crab lead here for Shun, but like you talked about, the bigger lead is in hands with Keshi on this Jace, who only seems to increase the lead further. Bot side, we get the Realm Warp, though, coming out from Heru. Looking to go on to Viper, has the exhaust and the flash back up. Actually shifts forward, puts the exhaust down on Heru, who's on, has to flash away from On. And the Deadly Flourish blind actually finds Viper, and now On is screwed. It's a double up for On to On, and TT blow open the bottom lane.
I just realized while I was like, what are you saying, sir? I can't tell the difference, but when you Americans say on and on, so it's going to be a struggle for me. But
I'm
on, really big positive here. I mean, this is a super aggressive look from the bot lane of BLG. Nice tether from On here to try to get the kill onto Feather. Flashes away. Very winning position, but then Heru comes down, and Viper can just live and give over one kill, but instead he tries to arcane shift forward with the exhaust. Doesn't have the damage. On with the Deadly Flourish, blind into the bush. Ends up getting a double kill for the ThunderTalk 80 carry. And again, you were talking about this XP lead for Shun. He's level 6 now, but Junhao's going to tick over pretty quickly. It's only a 200 gold lead. Meanwhile, double kill for On. 800 gold lead on this Jace in the top lane. Flounder is really, really suffering. He's down nearly a full level. Look at the CS difference in top lane.
Jeez.
Again, not the best start for the new recruit for this roster.
Nope. Not looking good indeed. BLG in a tough spot with that 1,000 gold lead over to the ThunderTalk side. At the very least, though, the bot lane pressure seems to be pretty similar. Push out from Viper means that Shun will get that Chemtech Drake all to his lonesome. Grubs are up about 20 seconds. Junhao, you think he's looking for that dive. Remember, he has a timer on some of these topside camps here for Shun, and maybe he doesn't have the best timer, actually. He thought that Gromp was up, and well, he's going to find out it hasn't respawned just yet, but should be in prime position to go after these Grubs. Especially, but Keshi does reset, doesn't have teleport, so we'll see if he just decides to take one for now, not knowing exactly where Shun is, but Junhao is completely safe here, so this should be all 3 Grubs, and that's not only a big win, but also just a big denial into the Olaf to get those Grubs, especially onto Keshi's Jason.
Yep, feels nice. Rise as well. You know, we were talking about ThunderTalk need to get stuff done in the side lane, and Rise alone under a tower. Not, you know, the most scary, but with the 3 Grubs can definitely do work. We've got Chemtech and Ocean Drake up next, so we're high rolling a soul this game. There is already a lot of damage in the game. You know, Olaf, Syndra, Ezreal, Jace, Ryze, Jhin. Late game, a lot of these champions are going to be smacking pretty hard. For something like an Infernal Soul, I don't know if you're allowed to get this Grump for free, Shun.
He's not. No, nice to be wary of a deadly flourish. There's a double scout of the week. Drop down to the damage. Temper Fate's going to stall out Knight from using his ultimate. He's going to flash and find himself Junhao. Current Call is going to get canceled there by Viper, as Junhao now sees a 3-on-1 in his own jungle, and he's calling desperately for his teammates. Nice. But the power has been unleashed by Knight, and he'll pick up the first kill here for BLG. Turns out Shun does get that Gromp after all.
That's all he wanted. The kill, the zoning, it helps, but he wants the Gromp. Really good roam from Knight. The damage done from Knight onto Heru on really important. On opens up the curtains on the bot side, and Viper shuts him down. Feather's too low as well from Knight, and that's tough. That's
there we
tough.
Go, Feather. Hey, remember, we said he only got the Gromp. We didn't say anything about the blue buff.
Yeah, or the Scuttle. That's not allowed either.
Settle for his Raptor camp alone here. Gold lead has been stabilized back to virtually dead even here for BLG by this point. Of course, is led by Knight, picking up that kill. 500 gold to swing back the soul lanes towards his side. Already has that Blackfire Torch completed, so likely to go for that CDR maxing Syndra build, just try to get as many scatters out as possible.
There's a lot of damage. And you get the Torch stacked up in passive stacks. If Thunder can keep Keshi here at this gold, I think it's okay, because Keshi's got the tier. It's gonna be a while before this Jace is like really unleashed. However, if Thunder can't keep Keshi under wraps, he's down a little under half. As On finds a root.
There's the barrier off the True Shot Barrage.
He's looking for the ult.
Yep, sniffing for a Realm Warp. Dares Viper and On to overextend there in the bot side. Won't see the angle, though. Still have a bit of a lull going on. We're about a minute and a half out from another dragon spawning onto the Rift. Of course, have that Rift Herald coming up in 4 minutes. So long ways out for some of these objectives. Gives the junglers some time to look for these ganks. We already saw one Paranoia used decently defensively to success, and that's the important thing to always remember. Us casters talk about this constantly, Jay Beto, the importance of, everyone likes to talk about the first Paranoia, but I like to think about it the first 3 Paranoias. So that's usually the big ones in the mid game. You want to find value in at least 2 to 3 of those big light switch off moments here for Shun. So we'll see when the next one comes. He, of course, has that Paranoia back online and looking for a target.
I can't remember who said this, but it was a conversation about Inspired, I believe, on Pantheon specifically, but the Nocturne applies as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're off of vision, not using the ult can sometimes provide the macro that you need, whereas using it would cost you, because your lanes have to play so safe when they're at risk of a Nocturne gank or a Pantheon gank. On takes so much damage from the fourth shot.
He's really trying to bait for Shun. You can see him. He was barely on the screen right outside that tri-brush. He wanted to look for that ult,
too.
But look at the pings. Back off here. Yeah, and On is going to be forced to reset there. So no threat of the Paranoia really swaying the TT bottom lane. Maybe a True Shot Barrage to cancel that back. Going to line up On and Viper's times as the Paranoia is going to come out here onto Heru. Does not have that flash just up yet, and the scatter is going to follow the fear. Nice. Beautiful setup for Shun. And Knight's going to knock him down. 2 kills for BLG, and both are on the golden left hand, just how they drew it up.
Yep. Of course, using the ult and getting value like that is obviously very worth, especially when you're giving a big lead over to one of the best players in the world. Keshi doing a pretty good job of pushing his lead further, sitting about the same gold as Knight. I know who I think is going to do more with this gold lead, but we'll have to see. Go for a dive, maybe.
Yep. He's going to Sonic Wave. Resonating Strike comes back out. They're going to bait out the Ragnarok.
Not
Flash
great.
from Junhao as he takes a turret shot. But he's going to take the Sonic Wave back in. Too bad Shun's there to at least trade out. Jungle for jungle. Feather in the area as well. Finds On as TT's bottom lane has roamed up here. Got Viper off to the side as well as the tether is going to land onto On. No Mystic Shot gonna land. It's gonna have to be a Arcane Shift over the wall. Viper gonna need the McHales to get away from a deadly flourish. His Feather ends up right on top of him, but just a bunch of smoke, no real fire to come there from TT, and it ends up just being that 1-for-1 on the dive on top of Flandra.
This is super interesting because we have two members with the exact same gold nearly. Knight 1.5k, Keshi 1.5k up as well. Shun's got a bit of a lead. Arn's got a bit of a lead here. I don't necessarily think the jungle lead is super important. It is 700 gold, but you know, these are mid-game focused bruiser junglers. They're not going to be scaling super well into the late game, and the Jin's got a little bit of a lead. But having your solo laners, you know, Knight's ahead, Keshi's ahead. Problem is that Knight's here for the second Drake. Keshi has TP, but he'd be losing so much on the other side if he does opt to TP. He's sitting back, maybe looking for a TP, but looks like ThunderTalk are just going to give it. So this is for BLG. They've got the two dragons. What solo are they going to roll into with this advantage? That's a good one.
That's a good one for a Fed Syndra. Let me tell you that much. And Ezreal throwing down the poke. So BLG have that win con to play for, and they want more of those enemy jungle camps. Junhao is going to end up picking up his blue buff. Off to the side, Scatter's going to land, but so is a Cosmic Binding onto Knight. No Deadly Flourish to follow that one up. As the lights go out, Shun goes forward onto Junhao. Kick away, though. Is going to make sure no fear lands. BLG trying to play with their lack of vision from TT as Viper takes the Magical Journey, goes after Feather. The Mystic Shot not going to land. He's going to exhaust onto Junhao. They're just outside the curtain call range, and Viper will find Junhao. Heru now going to help Keshi jump on top of On as the support's traded out, but Viper finds his second, shutting down Feather. And now Heru's on the wrong side of the tracks, and it's a flash forward from Flandra as he brings out the Ragnarok Rage to pick up the third kill for BLG.
Important fight here. Second dragon to BLG, and then Viper just goes in with the exhaust by himself. 1v2 looks really good with the two. Arn on the other side with the curtain call, just can't get in range. So this feels like an uncomfortable engage. It feels like Shun's going too far, and I would agree if there wasn't a man named Viper going in, fighting basically 1 versus 3, outside of the curtain call range just barely. Shun to come back in with the exhaust, and it looks really good. Heru's out of position. Keshi does a lot of damage, but 4 versus 2 here. Arndt can't get in, have to walk away. It won't be too devastating in terms of gold. We take a look back here. Knight has a big lead. Keshi also has a comparable lead. And Viper, despite getting those kills, hasn't really taken off. The fight did go to BLG, though. And with their team fighting, if Viper's going to continue to do that, it doesn't matter how much gold he has. He's just looking clean.
And Knight's just always seemingly on the right side of these cross maps. They spotted Junhao. BLG know that all these camps are being taken away. Shun knows he's losing his bot side. Keshi also getting that valuable time onto the tier 1 bot side turret. So actually should be a positive trade if they pick up first brick. Viper and On are threatening that mid tier 1. So there's the first brick over to TT. Knight will immediately answer it. But again, feel like BLG are just benefiting more from this cross map play. They pick up the Herald as well. The mid tier 1 is one big wind gust away from dropping Jay Beto, and that unlocks so much of the top side of the map specifically for Bilibili Gaming.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I want to talk about this BLG roster. You know, in terms of them contesting the top, right? Winning the split, being first seed, looking towards Worlds, fighting against top esports, and fighting against the best teams in the LCK, getting wins against the West as well. And this is another game in which Flandra chose the matchup and is down 2,500 gold. If this was any other team, I'm not being so critical of this, but being in a position where you're able to take a matchup that you want and you're happy to say, even if it's, okay, there's not the best matchup maybe in lane, but I'll get through the lane and then we can team fight. This is not getting through the lane. You are 2,500 gold down. Against other teams, you will not be allowed to get out of this game. Knight probably won't have a big lead like this, and you're playing against top laners that are probably better than Keshi. I still haven't been impressed with how Flandra has been approaching his new stint in BLG.
That's a great point to make. You think about the top laners the BLG are hoping to face at that Worlds tournament if they make the deep run as they're expected to. You make a great point. Can't give away 2,500 gold to Zeus. Keen. You just can't.
Yep.
They will ruin games. Luckily, though, BLG in the present are not having to deal with that. They're daring Keshi to channel prime Zeus form, or, you know, prime other LPL great top laners form here and punish them with this gold lead, but not able to do so just yet. We did see that mid-tier 1 go down to BLG, and they're now just setting up shop in their new home of this game, which is the bot side river. 30 seconds until they can attempt to claim sole point in this game. Jay Beto, a huge mark for this damage-led team from Bilibili Gaming.
Yeah, good vision for BLG, but with the bases, ThunderTalk have their turn on the map. They're going to put vision through bot side, and I think the setup from ThunderTalk's pretty good. Get the wave in here. You've got a really good position to play from, as BLG will try to approach from the top side. This is the benefit from red side. You have so much easier access to the Dragon Pit. Let's see, what can Keshi do, or is not going to take over this game?
Dragon already down about half HP before Shun even pulls up. He's got the Battle Herald ready. To be on that pops into that thing. Tempered Fate not going to glide out Shun, but he is going to grab the Dragon. Lights are going to go out. Shun will secure Soul Point, and here comes Flandre with the Ragnarok. Viper pelting all of TT down the backline, and Shun finally goes in, but the Rise is already gone. Knight deleted him. Junhao in the gray screen as well. TT are cowering, sputtering on the back foot as they surrender all of the bot side map to the two-time champs.
The Herald drive here. Should be able to get the tower as well.
Oh, they knocked up Heru. Keshi. He's going to flash away from the scatter of the week, but even the damage the Knight's able to pump out, seriously threatening. Herald gets that crash into the tier 2 turret. They're at least going to get this nearly last play, but it's Knight that finds the scatter, and it's Viper that brings the hammer behind it. Feather even has to flash away from Viper as he goes blood crazy looking for these kills. True Shot Barrage won't find that mark, so Viper Arcane shifts and nearly takes Feather's head off again. Keshi is TP behind, has that big TP shield, but he's staring down an entire army. Shun's going to flash after him just to make sure he get close enough for the fear, and that 2,500 gold lead doesn't mean squat when the army of BLG send you packing. Of course, it's Viper to grab his 4th kill of the game. BLG break open game 1.
Let's look at this sequence here on with an amazing Battle Herald. Knocks up Jungler. Viper as well, hitting poke. Junhao has to flash away. Dragon goes over. Look at Viper on the side. This angle is perfect. Peppering in. The target selection from BLG is perfect. Back at live. Looks like Feather pretty close to getting cleaned up there. But Knight is pretty good, as it turns out. He's hitting all the scout of the weeks. Viper, despite not having a lead through the lane, is doing so much more than Arn is. The poke onto the close range from this Lee Sin. And the Rise is just destroying them. And even though Keshi still has this lead, it's really not enough.
Heru just faked out a Realm Orb, but he kind of just gave away his only escape tool, and he gets walked down by Viper. The lights go out, sure, but Heru was dead in the water nonetheless. And the Rise falls flat without a whimper as well. BLG set up around the Baron, and they're pulling the trigger. 5 versus 4. They're up over 5,000 gold. TT, we dare ya to try and stop us. Well, there's the scatter, and there's Junhao's health bar. 7% of it already gone from one combo from Knight. True Shot Barrage makes it 90% of his health bar. Kurkal's going to come out. Tempered Fate will stall, but Junhao's just going to get ulted over the wall. Unleash power. There's no smite chance for TT, and BLG pick up the Baron and let Flandre loose on top of Keshi to get his revenge from the lane. Unable to land a Tempered Fate into that deadly flourish, but the fear from Shun stays the same, and the scatter flake from Knight might have just called game right here, right now. 5 strong for BLG, and they're barreling down the mid lane.
Knight is so good. It is beautiful to watch him play champions like this. He is so fed in this game. Completely denies Junhao not only from getting into the Baron, but even the engage on stops any kill, then kills him over the wall. ThunderTalk completely shut out of this game. Huge leads on everyone who isn't named Flandre. So you can see Arn in the player cam scratching his head. That's about how they feel.
Oh, he's almost there. It's only a measly 800 gold by this point, but safe to say the adage you made earlier, who do I trust when that's that 1.5k gold lead to get a win? Well, it's about to be the guy that's going to delete the other 1.5k gold lead if Keshi walks up to him. Enhanced Shock Blast is going to spot out Knight, who was definitely looking for a classic one-shot. And now BLG, off of their Baron reset, spending all that gold. They have Infernal Soul in about a minute's time. Junhao trying to get crafty, and the Pixel Brush will be spotted. Karma Mantra Q for the slow. Magical Journey has to come out. Feather gets his jungler away, but they secede control of that river. And that means BLG have that Infernal Soul in their back pocket in under a minute's time.
Knight nearly has full stack Magi's too. 3 items in. This is the thing. Like, yeah, Keshi has a lead, but only over Flandra. Flandra has, like, no gold in this game. Keshi has a lead. He only has 1... Oh, okay, never mind. The Manaman was in a different spot. He has 3 items. He's relative parity, but you see how much damage like Keshi did with the combo and top compared to how much Knight does on the other side. You saw it right there again. Knight takes a little bit of damage. Keshi takes half of his health from this Syndra. As BLG use the remaining 40 seconds of their Baron to get the towers, and then they're going to get Infernal Soul too. There is no chance. Junhao spotted on every ward possible.
Infernal Drake has spawned. The lights can go out at any time, so Junhao, this flank kick target might not be as easy as you think. There's the lights go out as Junhao finds Flandra, but you can't kick the Olaf. He desperately tries to flash on the Knight, but he kicks him the wrong way. Full panic there from Junhao as he was on enemy vision the whole time, looking for the flank of a sentry. Inhibitor going to go down here, and BLG, the world is their oyster. They can go after the Infernal Soul if they'd like, or keep the siege up with the last remnants of the Baron buff, or just try and kill on off with a combo from Viper. Comes up, blinking health bar, the True Shot Barrage, forces the barrier out and cancels the curtain call. Realm War from Heru was a one-way trip that was not to be desired. Gets deleted by all of BLG, and now Knight not able to scatter Keshi. It's a nice sidesteps, get away from the stun. And BLG will settle for their free Rise kill and likely finally claim that soul that will push this game over the finish line.
Yeah, I think we've had games of Heru where he's done fine, well even. This is a very head-scratching game. Some of these realm warps are very confusing. I want to try to think about... I mean, he's going in with his team there, but he went in by himself, 1 versus 5. I really don't... I don't see what he possibly could have been looking for there. I respect the attempt, but Knight is so fed.
Oh, no, on, don't walk on that wave. On. Or Heru. Anyone could get it. I'm just waiting. If he lands a scatter, he's one-shotting either of them.
Yes, he will. With this much AP, he's near. He doesn't even have fully upgraded passive yet. He needs 1 more stack. So that cannon, he didn't get it. But 1 more stack and he'll get the like extra % AP plus the execute. Like, we're not. Knight is about to do disgusting amounts of damage in this game.
Lights go out. He's not getting scattered there. Shun follows the blast cone to make sure to execute his target, which is Heru. Has the GA even if he gets taken down. Viper flashes over the Tempered Fate as Knight gets rid of Junhao. 2 quick kills, and now BLG could set up the final funeral of TT in this game 1. Nice Cosmic Binding onto 2 comes out from Feather. They are able to actually find Viper on the back end of this. A nice shutdown from On, but there's the scatter. Flash away from another Q coming out from Knight. Shun will just look to finish off this last inhibitor turret. And BLG will lock in triple inhibitors dropped, double super minion waves coming in droves with this last middle inhibitor falling. They won't go for the killer blow now. Health bars are a little bit too low, and BLG are feeling clinical with this finish to game 1.
5,000 gold is the lead that Knight has over Heru. What's he gonna buy with it? Surely he's got like so much gold in hand. Okay, he's going a Verdant Barrier. Interesting. I expected that he would have a little bit more gold, but he has 25 stack Magi's. Yeah, he did.
Okay, maybe he just bought that and we missed it.
If he bought full Shadow Flame and Verdant Barrier, he'd be sitting on like 4,000 gold. That would be his entire lead. I would be gobsmacked.
That's good math. Thank you. I'm not good at the math. You cover me on the math. Oh, the red buff steal. Just ult the red buff, Knight. He's just got enough damage alone, so he steals away that red buff from Junhao. They've got a second Baron. I'm a little shocked we got to this point, but why not take it if you're BLG?
Yeah, methodical game from BLG. A little bit of running it down in the fountain there. Weren't able to end the game just then. But, I mean, how do you even kill Knight? He's got the barrier. Baron's going to get paused.
Tempered Fate. Junhao. Hero steal. Let's see you go for it. Going to go in a little bit early as the lights are turned off. He's going to get feared and killed off before the Baron even goes down.
Well
Shun secures the kill, and the smite. Unleash power onto the back end. Heru is deleted once again. And TT are scattered like the wind. The scatter of the week does not find its mark there, but the super minions are doing the work here for BLG. They don't even need to touch those Nexus turrets. They've got the army to do it for them. Instead, they'll chase the final kills. On drops to Viper, Feather next to fall, and it's just ceremonious here for BLG as they lock in the ace, and they Baron up their super minions to kill off the Nexus. BLG 25-5 take our game one.
Yeah, it didn't feel close after a certain point there, BLG. The macro was better, the dragon control was better. Knight and Viper were better. That was a very, very Knight performance. I have to say, for ThunderTalk, they had their lead in top. They had a lane to roam to with the Bard, with the Realm Warp. It never happened. Not a single time. There's a Realm Warp bot that looked good for a double kill. That was the only time the Realm Warp was aggressively used. And there is definitely a Bard license we need to start giving out, because I've seen what Bards can do on the map, and I didn't see this Bard anywhere except in the team fights. That's not where you really want to see him. BLG, some issues in top lane, but for the most part, one stumble in bot, a pretty easy game through Knight. This guy is, he's MVPing for sure.
Yeah, for sure, indeed. I do feel a little bit bad for Feather, because you know, you pick the Bard to try and leave your AD carry, and you think he'll be safe, and Jin's kind of the pick to do that. But I just think if he left on alone with Viper and BLG on, like that, this Jin becomes completely useless. Probably gets dove a bunch of times. These damage numbers are ludicrous.
Wow.
So Knight and Viper single-handedly eclipse all of TT's damage in this game. It doesn't even take that quick of math to pick that one up.
That is ridiculous. Another thing as well about the way that this game played out is that Lee Sin really wants to be active early, and he wasn't able to with the early start from Shun, the start from Flandre. He wasn't able to find any impact at all. Looking at, like, it is a strange comp, because you've got the poke from the Jace, range from Jin, and then you've got this, like, all-in roaming style, and it didn't really feel like ThunderTalk landed on how they wanted to play their game. Yeah, not the best game. I really think that if they took that top lane lead, had Feather up there on the top lane, roamed with Junhao, could have looked a lot better, but there was a couple, like this one is good. Great cover from Shun on the other side, though. There's not a whole lot you actually can do when Knight is having a game like he just did. He was everywhere, every fight. Viper did so much damage as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we did just see an Ezreal player of the game because of how much damage Viper did do in this game. The exhaust was so great too. Tough loss from ThunderTalk.
Yeah, my favorite thing about Viper's Ezreal and these couple plays that we're getting is just like the confidence and aggression. He knows that he is not just going to get deleted like a glass cannon AD carry. You talked about the Arcane Shift 1 versus 2. This fight in particular, I think, was the best we saw from Viper, playing like peak Ezreal, just off to that side, hitting all these Mystic shots. You called out well, Jack, this corridor. He's just next to it, firing Mystic shot after Mystic shot. I do think, like, Knight's gold lead alone and just how much damage this guy was able to dump out in these final fights probably give him the MVP. I think the only way I end up mad with player of the game talk is if it's not somebody named Knight or Viper. If it's either one of them, hats off to them. Good luck choosing is what I say to the voters.
Yep, either one is good. I was chatting with a friend of mine about like the way that Ezreal is played, and you need to like dance on the line of you're inting and he's just everywhere in my face. I can't do anything, and I think Viper does that maybe the best in the world He's the best in the world at finding that line and dancing on it. And everybody who dances that line eventually crosses it. We've seen that happen, but this is a great example of
First Blood.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
This is a great example of like walking the tightrope, right? He is so aggressive in so many of these fights, but that's exactly what he has to do.
Inspiring stuff. I agree with you. Ezreal, that's what makes Ezreal so fun. To me, it makes him so mechanically, like the ceiling that this champion in a mechanical standpoint can bring you. When you think about how hitting Mystic shots refreshes your abilities constantly, it lends itself to, you know, the guys who hit the skill shots, the guys who look for those aggressive cues to land constantly. Really a fun champion to see. One of those few champions we think about where it's like, I always want this champion to be in pro. Because the best of the best playing it, it's just always fun. Same way we think about Lee Sin. Unfortunately, not what you can say for Junhao's Lee Sin, which is a little bit of an awkward spot for those statistics we were running. He, over 65% of the games he gets this banned away on, but he's now actually a negative win rate on the champion. He's going to go 2-3 on the Lee Sin. But like you talked about, that just goes back to the BLG game plan of slowing down the period of time where Lee Sin is just so much more beneficial than a Nocturne. That like pre-level 6 time where Junhao could have ran the map just really didn't exist in this game.
Yeah, we've really seen games where the Lee Sins have just completely run over matches in the early game. It'll be the Knight player of the game.
Of course.
I think either of them are good votes. This is probably where mine would have gone.
Sure.
So much peel. The stuns, like looking for angles is amazing. Like while the damage wasn't anywhere near as high as Viper's was, a lot of the time that's because he's not really... They're just dead before he gets to do a ton of damage. Viper's damage is a lot more consistent. Knight's getting, you know, the stun, executing with the ult. Eventually, it took a while to get his full stacks, but yeah, a pretty blowout game from BLG once the ball started rolling. Awkward all-in and bot. Still got my finger on the top lane. 8 out of 8 is kind of crazy.
Wow. Yeah, everybody's on board with the Knight player of the game. Can't really be mad at it. I think Viper's just mostly happy that BLG start this series out with a Game 1 win after that upset loss to JDG, one of the few blemishes that we've seen from BLG in what feels like a while in the LPL, but they've bounced back with a 20-kill surplus drubbing of ThunderTalk, who are now going to be right back where they started in this series with first selection to try and help them out. But with one game between them and a